CFS.
How long have you been working on that for?
Weeks. You did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's not right yet.
Not nailed it yet.
No.
I'll keep working on it.
Welcome to this week's Agency Affairs. First one of November.
Don't think we did one last week. GPC.
Some cool topics to discuss today.
Yeah.
Interesting topics.
Not
with your
CGT
opinions.
changes then.
Oh, it's about CGT.
No, we're not going to talk about CGT because we know nothing about it. They all know more than we do, so let's not do that. Let's talk about recruitment crisis.
We are having our own recruitment crisis. Never mind Mr. Rayner and the industry. So we've been looking for someone.
Anyone,
yeah, numerous people, probably 4 or 5 people for the last 3 months, and we don't even get the rubbish people. We just don't get anybody.
One rubbish person's just backed out of the recruitment process this morning. Probably.
That's how embarrassing it is.
Attila.
Someone that wasn't even going to get the job has pulled out of our job.
Somebody we didn't want doesn't want us.
So it is really tough at the moment.
Maybe you're finding the same thing.
Yeah, so at Mastermind, if you don't know, we have a quarterly Mastermind with our amazing Firewave members. We chatted about it briefly, and one of our members have had to dramatically increase wages, isn't it?
That's got like 15k a year on.
It was, I'm not sure it was quite that, but it was
insane.
It was a lot of money.
In actually quite a low value area.
Yeah, and the question goes, what on earth is going to do next year when actually this crisis of jobs is over?
We think.
Well, it's got to come at some point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
background.
And the employees have more power, and obviously he's going to go and say, or potentially go and say, actually, you're not worth quite that now.
Well, he did say
market value's dropped.
He did say he was going to sack some of his staff. Well, no, he said I'd rather lose them.
Yeah.
And keep the better ones.
When he's in control.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I can see that. But interested to know what you guys are doing.
It is making, in terms of hospitality, it's making a massive inflation here because we're paying ridiculous prices here. Not we personally, but so for example, excuse me, my local pub, which used to do pizzas at 10 quid, now just pizzas at 15 quid. And that's actually a really big difference, 50% difference on a pizza because they can't get staff without paying a ridiculous price to their staff. That is just going to be never ending because now if the staff want to buy the pizza, they need more money per hour. So if the pizza was usually an hour's wages, it's now an hour and a half's wages. That's what we've got to try and work out.
Yeah.
When you just sit still and stop.
To be fair, the £10 was probably too low anyway. But £15 probably goes too high.
Well, £10 used to be a cheap night out. You know, go and share a pizza. Pizza and a pint, cheap night out. No, I don't think £15 is a cheap night out. What do you think?
Depends who you're taking out.
100 quid is a cheap night out.
£100?
Yeah, see, that's what happens when you
What is on the night out though?
Out drinking and food. For 2 of you, 100 quid's cheap.
I mean,
You won't see me spend £100 in that.
If you're dropping in, you know, having a pizza after work, you just want like a 10 quid pizza really. Or I think just go into Co-op and buy one for 3 quid and stick it in their oven.
Why do you do that?
Oh, I'm doing because I'm not paying £15 for a crappy. It's a really crappy pizza as well. It's not even nice, and the staff are terrible, even though they're paying them ridiculous wages. That's the other problem. Staff have got an entitlement problem because I went to, you know, when we went to Wembley. What did we stay at? The Hilton. The woman in the spa was so rude. I nearly said something to her, and I thought actually no, because if I say something to her and then she walks out, the Hilton can lose another member of staff, and they will hate me.
I remember now.
She was awful.
Yeah, it was nothing. She was nice to me, so it was nothing to do with it.
So Josh Rayner, who we know and love very well, says he's got a recruitment agency. He says the industry is the busiest I've known in my 17 years in the sector, and demand from estate agents companies to replace and expand is at a boiling point. So job vacancies actually says 1,034,000 here, so it's slightly below in the news this morning, but there's about 1 million vacancies at the moment, which is insane. 1 million vacancies.
Sorry.
What?
I was going to say not just in our industry, but then I realised it was stupid. Just didn't say it. And then you forced me to say it, so now I look stupid.
It's 25% higher than it was before the pandemic. So is that 25% people who've gone home, or as in, you know, immigrants, or is it increased demand for that product or that service? So for example, online purchasing, we know it's all gone up massively. People have been spending their bounce back loans and the furloughs and all the rest of it, sitting at home, twiddling the thumbs, ordering things that they didn't need. So that means more people needed in the warehouse, more manufacturers, more distributors, more HGV drivers, etc.
It's both. Definitely,
It must be a combination of both.
Because especially estate agents have done really well, so therefore they expand into either new areas or new areas of business, or they just want more people. But then they can't get anyone because the jobs that, as I said, people have gone home, the value of those jobs have risen, therefore the wage have risen, and therefore no one wants to either leave or people go for those jobs instead. So it's definitely
because like in Bowness, what we found when we had a lot of sort of Polish, Ukrainian workers here, because the standard of living here was so much higher, they were happy to share a room with like 4 bunk beds in a room and pay like 30 quid each for the room. And now a local person's like, well, I'm not doing that, I'm not sharing a room, and so I'm not working for £10 an hour in a bunk bed. I want to, you know, this is part of a career.
And a lot of landlords decided to cash in on the market too.
Yeah,
So
the
there's not
holiday
much
market.
combination.
Exactly.
So it's a bit of a mess that needs untangling over the next 12 months.
The market will untangle itself, and we've just got to stick with it. It will might have to be understaffed for a while, but if we take a knee-jerk reaction now, next year where we're predicting a cash flow crisis for a lot of agencies, we don't want to be one of those agencies. We've got to look after our cash now so we can keep all the jobs we have got next year, and hopefully when the recruitment crisis sorts itself out, we can afford then to carry on recruiting at the level we need to, rather than overspending now. Because it wouldn't be fair if we put a job offer on now for 30k, it's not fair on everybody else in our agency that's on less than 30k, so everybody would have to have a price rise, and that's not fair on everybody. It also says, by the way, in the same news article, which I forgot my quote from, EAT I think, said that the number of agencies operating within the cities has increased 7% year on year. Bristol has seen the biggest uplift at 16%. So 1 in 8 agencies in Bristol now are brand new. That is really high. Imagine if that was here. We've got 53 competing agents here, loosely competing. That would mean another 8 agencies open. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. You can see what drives that, whether that was an opportunism this year.
Self-employed model maybe?
Yeah.
Could there be LPs in there?
It's probably risen more in the cities where there's a KW centre.
Yeah, that's probably true as well. So actually could be LPs, couldn't they? Or self-employed agents. Should I tell them my goss about Rightmove? It's old goss.
I'm trying to remember it.
The 2015 goss. So I was talking to somebody who probably shouldn't have told me, so I won't name names, but it's back in 2015 anyway. And I said to him in a chat the other day, I don't know why Rightmove never adopted a direct-to-consumer model, apart from the fact that they didn't want to deal with 1 million different clients for one per property. They would rather instead deal with 18,000 estate agents. That would be the biggest reason, I would have thought. But obviously massive expansion potential if they do go direct-to-consumer. And he said they considered it back in 2015. And they decided not to do it. So they actually went through a whole research phase of a viability study, and they commissioned somebody like PricewaterhouseCoopers to do a viability study for them.
Just to be clear, they deny that in everything they always talk about. Yeah. So that is
so it's inside goals.
That is smashed down rumours. We certainly can't confirm that, but I'm sure it wouldn't come as a big surprise to the majority of people. And actually, as much as we would hate it, good business practice is probably to have a look at if it was viable. Yeah. And we'd have probably all done it. So.
And actually, what is funny is the public have no idea they can't advertise on Rightmove. They genuinely think that they can put their own home on Rightmove, and we have to explain to them they can't. Anyway, that was not news.
I guess the biggest challenge for Rightmove there is getting off the ground, because as soon as it was announced, I would hope that all agents would come off Rightmove, and therefore there'd be no properties on Rightmove, so people would have to go elsewhere to find the properties, and then Rightmove could find themselves in trouble in water for a while.
Yeah, because actually what they've got to do is provide probably 1,000 LPEs to verify online listings. They can't just put anything online. They've got to verify each listing.
What they probably have to do is buy a heck of a lot of estate agents to make sure they have the number of listings to keep the audience, keep the traffic, which would cost them a fortune.
I don't think every estate agent would come off though, and also they're in contract, and their contracts probably wouldn't be anything to do with direct to consumer. So I think that they would try and get their LPs sorted out.
Contracts are relevant. You just take all the properties off. You're not in contract to list the properties.
Fair enough, but then you're paying, aren't you, for nothing? I don't know. Interesting.
Anyway, that's 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
It's 2015 goss, not now. But it is interesting that, as Phil says, they've always denied it, and I know otherwise now.
Denied it strongly.
I know otherwise.
Can't wait for the lawsuit. I'll defend you in court. Another story from the Daily Express. Housing market crash. Expert predicts crisis date as interest rate rise expected. There's some great...
Crisis date, I love that.
Yeah, great points in this. So, the UK housing market is set for a crash in the coming years, as an expert has claimed in a damning warning to homeowners. Now, this warning has come from a guy called Jonathan Rowland.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan, if you're watching, from House Buy Fast. So, naturally, he has no agenda here.
No, no hidden interest.
And he's very specific with his date. Within the next decade, there's going to be a crash in the market. And there may well be, Jonathan, I'm sure his business would do very well if there was a crash in the market, because people want to sell quickly, and his company would buy fast.
House buy fast.
As it says on the thing, we buy fast.
We buy fast.
We buy fast.
What do they buy?
Fast.
Doesn't say that. We buy fast. Do they buy slow?
So,
Right.
Mr. Rowland, told Express.co.uk that a house market crash in the next decade has now become likely. It's just
likely.
to likely. He said, "I would say yes, it is likely."
Well, right.
Direct quote.
Where's it said there's a date?
Well, next decade.
The next decade isn't a date.
But it might be for some reason that we haven't seen yet, such as you know, we didn't see COVID or the credit crunch 2008.
We didn't foresee COVID.
Yeah, but foresee spelled wrong. That's why it's. Or, huge interest rates in 1991.
The market's moving on.
That's the end of the article. So it's a very short article. Sorry, I was trying to do that. So we know that papers need to get a story out of nothing.
Isaac used to be a journalist, didn't you, Isaac?
What are your thoughts on this story?
Is that a good story writing, Isaac?
It's a good headline. If we're going direct mail, great headline.
We should do one of those. Local estate agency predicts property crash in the next 50 years.
And tells you the exact date, 2072.
Is likely.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on.
Because we didn't foresee World War II.
Let's move on. Or the charge of the Light Brigade.
Watch there be a huge crash next year, and this video will be played everywhere.
Over and over again, like Michael Fish.
Who?
Michael Fish was the weatherman that said, the massive storms in 1997, I think it was.
97?
Yeah, I know, a long time ago.
Talking about fish, I prefer £1 fish man
So he,
to my fish.
So
he's a bit of a
somebody
legend.
phones in and
Can we
says,
get on podcast? £1 fish man.
Try.
Somebody phones in and says to the weather station, or BBC weather, whatever, and says, I've heard that there is a hurricane coming. Is this true?
Hurricane or hurricane?
Hurricane, maybe.
I say hurricane.
So he goes on. Can I carry on? Yeah. So he goes on live and says, as he's doing the weather, and says, we are going to be in for some bad weather, but as the lady who phoned up earlier said, is there going to be a hurricane? There's not going to be a hurricane, and then there was. Worst storms we've ever had.
Oh, Fishy got that wrong, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, there's a song about him.
£1 fish.
It wasn't Michael. It wasn't £1 fish, but it was a song about Michael Fish.
Raining on the weatherman.
Michael Fish, you're wrong.
Blame it on the weatherman, not raining on.
Can you find it? Actually,
That'd be a better
see if I
title.
find it.
Raining on the weatherman.
Michael Fish on YouTube. Yeah.
No, £1 fish.
No, I don't want £1 fish. I want Michael Fish. Is he still even alive?
£1 fish man. It was only a few years ago.
1987. Bloody hell.
You are so old. It is ridiculous.
That was about when WoW was around.
Do you want to watch it now or later?
No, it's alright.
We'll watch it now.
Much in
Put a
this.
link to it there in the comments. Okay, so last story of the week is Mr. Newman, our friend Sean Newman from Finer Country. Actually says
Hi,
from
Sean.
Finer Country in Windsor, but it's actually from lots of Finer Countries. But I think he was
Dominates fine.
representing the Windsor branch, I'm guessing. So a couple of things in this story really. One is that he's selling a £20 million property for 30 million. So what he's done, as far as I can gather, is he's taken a property that hadn't sold since 2018 and done what we do, which is to respin the marketing, which is a good strategy, and put it back on the market. I don't know if it came on a different price. We didn't do our research beforehand. But he's now saying that he wants to get £30 million for it when actually it was only on the market for 20 million, I believe. So starting bids are at 20 million and he's going to get 30 million.
I'd imagine it was on for 30 million. and in order to get some kind of traction, they've gone starting bid to 20 million.
Can you find out, Isaac, please?
Do you think we can start a bid lower than that?
I think you start bidding whatever you want.
What is it, sorry?
It's
What's the name?
Why don't we put an offer
It's
forward?
called Hartford Manor, HART. Is there a T in that? Or Hartford
The primary school.
Manor in
Hartford.
Berkshire.
No-
Hartford
no
with a
T.
Actually, it does say, which has already been offered on the market at 30 million with another agency from 2018. Don't know who the other agency was. So he's offering 1% to us guys, we guys, to sell it for him. He's offering 1% to anybody who can introduce a buyer.
Sean's offering this.
Yeah.
I thought it was someone else.
Says Sean.
I know, but I'm not sure it is.
Says Sean.
I'm pretty sure it's not Sean.
Says Sean.
Sean's, I think, I'm
In a clever marketing move, Sean Newman from Fine and Country in Windsor is dangling a £300,000 commission carrot in front of his fellow agents.
I'm pretty sure I've read an article where it isn't Sean.
Well, I'm sure Sean's representing Fine and Country Windsor, which has also got its own representative.
Yes, who's in the video.
We've got some updated news.
There's a brochure there, if that's the right one. It's upside down, Phil.
Just want to know who was on the market with before, really. So the other part of the story, big brochure. Need to get see if we can get
Well,
one
that
of those.
one's Savills.
Oh, okay. So it was on the market.
Potentially.
Savills. Right, got you. Okay.
That's the brochure from
So
there.
the other part of the
That's a
story, because this is probably not good content, Phil.
Savills.
The other part of the story is that he's created what has been dubbed as the best property video ever shot in the UK. And congratulations, Sean, because it is an amazing video. We have a few challenges with it. We think it could be possibly improved. But it starts off with a really fast-moving, well, can you find the video as well?
Bond-esque.
It is a bit Bond-esque, yeah. Isaac, can you find the link and put it in there? Thanks. And then you can watch it. It's really long. It's something like 18 minutes. But the first bit I actually quite liked. It was choppy. It was good. I didn't like the two non-actors, which looked like the two estate agents turning up in their black suits. One was in the Bentley.
They were estate agents.
One was in the Fine and Country.
Well, the guy was, yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, but it just didn't. They looked like two estate agents, and they didn't look like.
To us
a
they
couple.
did.
Well, wearing black suits.
Yeah, to us they look like estate agents.
The
But
kind of person that lives in that house probably doesn't wear a black suit when they come home from work.
no.
And then it showed them lounging around in the pools and stuff. So I thought that was good. I didn't think there was any cohesion when they were in the house and enjoying the house. There didn't seem to be. I know we do a day in the life. It doesn't have to be as literal as that, but it just has to be a flow. So 1 minute they're playing pool, the next minute they're in the pool, the next minute they're back in the suits and cooking dinner. You know, it all was a bit disjointed. So I think that needed tightening up a bit. But I liked the video work. I thought the video work and the music especially I thought was very, very good. Very well chosen. Then he goes into the slow version of it where he talks you around the entire house, which just takes forever. And nobody, I don't think, that can afford 30 million is going to sit down and watch an 18-minute video on it. And I just thought the whole thing kind of lacked energy towards the end, really. And it felt like, in fact, one of our clients said this to us, one of our Thyroid members, it felt like they were just trying to recruit new agents, not sell a house, which I think is a fair point.
I didn't watch it all, I skipped through it. But first of all, I like whoever's decision it was, Sean's or I don't know who the other, is it Damien or something like that?
Damien Merry.
Damien Merry. I like trying to push the boundaries of things and try new things, and look, there are always going to be opinions like Sam's and mine about different sections, and we're not necessarily right. I'm sure people had opinions about the videos we did in positive and negative, and it's each their own. But I like the fact they tried it. For me, it was slightly too long, and the last bit was about 12 minutes long of the house tour. I found it slightly boring, but.
And the narration.
But I'm not the target market.
No.
They're not trying to sell to me.
And we might be completely wrong. Somebody might go ahead and buy it for 30 million and say the video was the best they ever saw.
But one thing I don't think they did is discuss who the video was for in particular, because I think that the lady of the house is more likely to sit down and watch it all, and it was I don't think it was presented towards the lady. I think it was more presented towards the man.
Yeah, it was the black Ferrari, the Armani suit. It was that kind of a little bit of arrogance. Sorry, Damien.
But the male buyer probably has quite an ego.
Yeah,
in a positive way.
But they probably don't live there as a couple like that. They probably have, you know, I mean, entertaining would have been good to show.
Yeah,
maybe
did you have
family.
more than one woman?
What?
Did you have more than one woman?
Yeah, harem.
I'm on the search for another one.
Don't look in this direction. So anyway, we'd love your thoughts about the video as well. And
You
listen,
have a mother-in-law with it too.
no sour grapes, because they spent a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort on a video that is actually exceptional in the industry. It really is. So we probably would give it, I would give it probably 8 out of 10. I think it still has some room for improvement, but and all ours do as well. We look back at ours and think, why did we do that? Or that take was too long.
There were things they did better than what we did.
They're much better. And
It was a lot snappier.
I really like to snap a bit at the beginning. I would have rather just seen that and nothing else, really.
Yeah.
But actors, get actors next time. That's what I would say. And then the narrator has got more credibility, because then the narrator isn't the actor. So I think that probably would be better. I think the narrator and the actor were the same person in the Final Country Ferrari, weren't they? Yeah. So I'm not sure what they were doing then as Final Country bods in that person's house enjoying it. That seemed a bit weird. It's got to be credible. I think John Lewis. Isn't that right, Phil?
That is right, so.
How's your video coming along, Phil?
Why are you saying it in such a sensual way?
I didn't think I was. I thought I was saying it in a sceptical way, like, why didn't you bring your Christmas tree this
It
morning?
was like late night radio kind of stuff.
And now, coming to the top of the hour. I don't know what to say because I'm not awake at that time of night. Tell me about your video.
I will not tell you about my video. No. It's private, just in case
We-
it all falls to bits and doesn't come out.
Christmas video.
Yeah. Taking down John Lewis effectively, but it's not a big deal.
And WestJet. And Aldi. What's the best Christmas advert?
Sainsbury's, Coca-Cola, no chance this year. Don't waste your money.
Well, all I have to do is drive around in a red lorry for Coca-Cola, don't you?
Mm.
I don't like those adverts at all.
Great brand position.
I don't like it.
Not brand position, what's the word? I read about it the other day. Not brand awareness, where something can happen and people instantly place it at a brand store, even though it's got nothing new to the brand.
So you see a red lorry at Christmas and you
And
think
it's-
Coke.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that put on Facebook when they see the red lorry that's start of Christmas. It just the lorry just flipping tours around the UK. People go and see it. But
You got
not
Facebook.
closer. I'm just frustrated that people go and see a red lorry.
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red light, green light.
Right, I think we've run out of useful things to say.
That was years ago.
Do you remember the, what was that, Milky Way advert? Red car and blue car had a race. Don't remember that.
I think that was like 1964, wasn't it?
No, I do.
Stuff is
It was
face.
fairly recent. I'm questioning whether it's Milky Bar.
Don't know.
It is from to Prickly Tree.
I've gone off Milky Bar. I used to like it.
But good old Blue, he took the Milky Way. He's looking for a
The Milky
treat
Way?
That's
Is it Milky
fluffy
Bar?
and light. Milky Way. It's Milky Way.
I
Because he
think
knows it
we're done.
won't spoil his appetite. Oh no, the bridge is
Bye.
down. Poor old Red can't carry on. But good old Blue, he took the Milky Way. Do